Hello and welcome to this episode of The Rest is Entertainment with me, Marina Hyde.
And me, Richard Osman. Hi, Marina.
Hello, Richard. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How's your week been?
It's been wonderful. It's been good fun, busy, a packed schedule. Yes, a busy Halloween weekend, of course.
Of course it was Halloween weekend. I don't really go for Halloween.
Okay, well, you will next year because I'm having a massive party. So I can assure you, you will be going for it next year.
All right, Jonathan Ross.
Yeah.
So many people on Facebook going to Halloween parties as either Claudia or the Traitors. It's like a gift.
Yeah.
All you need is a cloak or a fringe.
So ridiculously, my school uniform contained a floor-length green cloak.
Do you know what? You surprised me.
I only remembered it. I don't know why, because it was like
a cloak. Yeah.
If Claire had been chosen, that would not have been the first time she would have worn a floor-length green cloak. Let me tell you.
What were they thinking? What were they preparing?
I don't know. It was had a red lining. It's unclear what we were being prepared for. Anyhow, Halloween, obviously a big weekend on Strictly, and we're going to be talking about Strictly a bit later.
You're talking about the succession. We're also talking about why everybody is wrong about Strictly.
I don't think you'll find I'm wrong about it, but yes.
Well, listen, I'll be the judge of that.
But first of all, speaking of getting a lot of stuff off your chest, we are going to talk about Lily Allen, her new album, West End Girl, which is a sort of narrative album. I mean, I don't want to say definitely about her breakup from her husband, David Harbour, who's famous in Stranger Things and various Marvel projects, but he's most famous in Stranger Things.
He had not crossed my radar before.
No, really?
Before this week.
And it's extraordinary. She had no sort of advanced promotion for this, really. It's number one on the UK download chart, and I think I looked this morning, there are 3 singles in the top 20. It's a huge buzz, really, because it is, I mean, I have to say, I really like it.
Yeah. If you like Lily Allen, which I do, you will like this album.
Yeah, it's ethereal in lots of ways, and yet they're talking about something so raw and very explicit in lots of ways. I really like the storytelling in it, actually, and to me, it's interesting how it's been discussed. It has almost been experienced as this full kind of social media feeding frenzy in the way that things are in our age, but more than I'm more even than a sort of Taylor Swift thing, anything. But I suppose because in many ways, what she has, her biggest USP as an artist, Lily Allen, and it always has been, is this kind of terrifying, incredible candor.
Yes, a terrifying lack of filter, which is a very powerful weapon. And
actually
culture.
It comes across because a lot of people, there are certain people you think, you're exposing yourself slightly in Taylor Swift's various sort of confessionals, things like that, but they do nonetheless always feel incredibly controlled and marketable. Lily Allen has always had a thing where she has had, I suppose she was sort of forged in the fire of all of gossip in the noughties, particularly in the noughties. It was best if you were a mess and you could be kind of...
Here's the interesting thing about it. I was looking back to when she had her first number one singles, which is, it's 20 years ago now. And in the charts at that time, in the same week that she was number one, in the charts you had Razorlight, The Kooks, The Prodigy, Kings of Leon. This was who were in the charts. This week, every single song that is above her, she's number 12, I think, every single song that's above her is by a woman. Every single one.
A female soloist,
apart from Dave. We'll actually get to Dave in a bit. That generation sort of grew up venerating Lily Allen. Funnily enough, Billie Eilish pays homage to her. Olivia Rodrigo brought her out at Glastonbury, absolutely loves her.
Yeah.
Pink Pantheress. There's something about what she was doing when she was doing it that really spoke to the next generation along. And so she is now absolutely a role model to a new generation of female artists. And this generation of female artists are incredibly powerful, have sold an awful lot of records in a way it wasn't quite possible to do in Lily Allen's time. So, as you say, if you present yourself as a mess in some way, which is how she was sort of seen in the press back then, that's now a career. That's now you're allowed to talk about what it is to be a woman. You're allowed to talk about what it is to have ended a relationship in a very, very candid way. She sort of brought that in a
even by those standards, though. I would say this is.
Oh, it's great.
It's
great unless you're David Harbour.
It's almost weird when you see. I was reading an Alexis Petridis, who I absolutely love in The Guardian. I love his music criticism, and I was reading a thing and thinking, gosh, it's almost odd to read this album addressed as music, because for the past 10 days or whatever, it's just been a
An Instagram
as I say,
post.
A huge kind of social media event that rewards those kind of things that we've talked about before in this age. It rewards a kind of extraordinary candor. It's set people on detective work to try and find previous Instagram posts that they can hook in. Since it tells such a specific story of the kind of decline of a relationship, that they can kind of tag things into that.
There's less detective work needed on this one.
No, I mean,
she literally gives names and addresses and reads out tweets verbatim, and you're like, oh, okay. Is even any detective in the world, they'll be going, I think we've got him, Sarge.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about sort of all the great breakup albums, and you're thinking of, I don't know, like Joni Mitchell, Blue, or Blood on the Tracks, or Jagged Little Pill, or Adele, 21, or whatever. And I mean, Joni Mitchell, when she wrote Blue, said, she actually stopped giving interviews for quite a long time because she said people wanted to talk about the music and the gossip. And I thought the music was important and the gossip wasn't important at all.
Yeah. And she didn't even write a song called Pussy Palace.
Yeah. Lily Allen's not going to stop giving interviews because comes from it's a completely different era now. I mean, obviously she was a digital native. She started on MySpace. All of those.
Can I just say, sometimes when time seems like a weird concept, like some people's children grow up much quicker than other people's children. There'll be some people and you'll see them when their kid is 2, and then the next time you see them their kid is 17, and there'll be other people and their kid was 2, and then at the same time and they're like 4.
Yeah.
Lily Allen started on MySpace, but she's only 40.
I know.
How is that possible? I feel like the maths of that doesn't work. It's like she fought in the First World War and she's still only 36.
I know. I mean, but it's as all of those things, and yet, as she also says on the album, she's a kind of 40-year-old divorced mother of teenagers.
Yeah, I think if you've ever been in a relationship with Taylor Swift, I don't know if any of our listeners have, at some point you will break up and there will be an allusion to you on an album and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. If you break up with Lily Allen, it's not even going to be an allusion to you. It's going to be absolutely full on, and not for any reason other than that's what her art is.
That's what her USP, and that's what she does.
Exactly.
There is something about the age where people want and demand that sort of rawness much more, which is why I think as Taylor Swift gets more, has found her supposed, I don't want to say supposed happy ending. I wish it is a happy ending, but she's lent into the idea of conflict with maybe artists, other artists, with whoever it is, because actually this is an age that wants there to be beef, pain, conflict, and that, of course, there always has in like breakup albums. But I think Lily Allen would have made this album at any point in the cultural arc. Yeah. So she's not following a trend. She's not. No. The reason it's so big is because that's where we are culturally. That is not why she made it. I don't think. I think she just thought, I really want to talk about all of this. I wish there was some really amazing research on this, because this is my gut. That is in the ascendancy as a subject. Broken love is in an ascendancy as a subject more than love itself. And there have obviously been times where just big love songs are the biggest kind of trend. I think in pop music, in terms of subjects being in an ascendancy, pain and conflict, and it doesn't have to be conflict in a relationship, it could be conflict with, your peer group, other artists. You look at what Taylor Swift does all the time, where she's found her handsome prince, but nonetheless she's still able to mine a particular seam of kind of friction in other ways. And I do think that conflict, and surely, as you know, I believe that social media is driving so many of these things. Social media has driven that up the charts, as it were, as in the ascendancy as a subject for love songs. It's that kind of a song. Take us through some of the specifics that she says on this album. Well, and by the way, it's a very, very, very listenable album. And most people will never listen to lyrics in their life, and they don't have to. So absolutely, you can just listen to this album as it is. But there are lots of very specific lyrics in this. Can you give us some of the highlights? Okay, yes. So, it starts with West End Girl, and it's quite... Lily Allen's had she had what seemed like a happy ending before, where she got married and she moved to the country and she had her children, and then that relationship broke apart and she lost her house, or she needed to pay a big tax bill. Anyway, then she meets David Harbour and she moves to New York, and it's all perfect, and they buy a brownstone that's been featured in Architectural Digest, and she is offered a part in a play in London. All of that is dealt with in about the first 2 verses of the first song. She's offered a part in a play, which was that 2.2 222 or whatever it is, a ghost story, which almost like national service for young actors, I would think. Like everyone's had to be in it at some point. And she did one, and she did The Pillar Man, I think, and she got an Olivier Award nomination. Anyway, but all of that has happened by sort of verse 3 in the first song. And after that, it is a descent where she discovers I think he wants an open relationship, which she doesn't really want.
Yeah, even in the first song, you hear her side of an imagined phone conversation, but one that's happened where, yes, he's saying, I would like to have an open relationship, which I don't think he had raised before.
No.
She had gone to London.
No, I mean, it's not a great moment. I mean, short of actually Shiv saying it on her wedding night in Succession. I mean, he picked his moment, if that's how it happened.
I mean, it's textbook love bomber, which is he's finally got her, and he's like, no, I still want to keep hold of you because, it feels like you're a trophy. But at the same time, I realise now I'm not supposed to have sex with other people. And when I think about it, I would actually really like to. So can we just work out a way where I can do both of those things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we then move into the having your cake and eating it phase of the relationship from his side. But it's a narrative, it's a really easily told story, and you can fully understand it as it goes through the songs, and she finds that he's forming attachments with other people. There's a Madeleine that we don't know who she is.
Although we do,
because she's now been uncovered and has actually just admitted that it's her.
Yeah.
I mean, she was really not someone involved in the world of celebrity because I think she works in wardrobe or something, but she should have said, it's not me, but said, yeah, it is me. And I okay. She obviously doesn't have any PR advice. There's a point where she's obviously chucking him out, and she goes to this apartment in the West Village, and she finds, it's amazing you can make a song out of this. There's a Dwayne Reed bag tied full of butt plugs and lube and hundreds of Trojans. You're so fucking broken.
Yeah, Dwayne Reed is their version of Boots.
Yeah, it's a Boots bag. Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, yeah, it's celebrities are just like us in many ways. And anyway, so she finds out all about the double life.
And that's in Pussy Palace.
Yes, that's in Pussy Palace, which in my view is the most unbelievably remorselessly catchy song.
Yeah, great name also for a cat cafe.
Yeah. Let's reclaim it, Richard. Let's reclaim it. Anyhow.
I mean, David Harbour, that'd be a hell of a move from him, saying I'm setting up a series of cat cafes.
Because of the way the entertainment calendar has fallen, Richard, he is required to be out there on the Stranger Things press tour.
Is he?
It's a final series of Stranger Things. It's beginning later this month. It is obviously an enormous show on Netflix. But I've seen people say, he can't be involved in the press tour now. I mean, I wouldn't go that far because to some extent, one of my experience of press tours is there's always going to be, it's sort of like, hi, David, I'm from the Madrid Gazette. When are you next coming to Madrid? But there is always one. So they'll be like, hi, David, I'm from the London Scuffler. We've all heard the argument that the West Village apartment was a pussy palace. Would you like to make the case that it was, in fact, only ever a dojo? And they could, he is going to, it's got quite difficult. And you've got to imagine the rest of them all sitting in a long line at a press call along the stage. You've got Millie Bobby Brown just wants to talk about her teen beauty line. The Duffer Brothers just want you to think that they're going to make amazing movies for Paramount, like the Russo brothers do on Netflix. And everyone's just wanting to, leave this great show on a high and move on to their next projects. It is tricky.
If there's any invites to like, sometimes they do like press events and that we're cast there afterwards. That's one. If that came into your inbox, said, would you like to go to a cast and crew screening of Stranger Things? You go, yeah, and I might just stay for the Q&A. Yeah, normally not in a million years, but yes, please on this occasion. It's difficult to know what he can do here. One of his friends is quoted as saying that because obviously he knew she was bringing out an album and this, that, the other. He said David was certainly bracing for a catty album. He said, but now he's furious at essentially being accused of being this skirt-chasing monster. I mean, you chase skirt, this is a monster weekend, and the world's worst husband. And again, no one's saying he's the world's worst husband, but no one is saying he's the world's best husband either. No. You know, that's the issue there for David. This is very much a middling review on his husbandry, as it were. Exactly. This is a 3 at best. Yeah. You behaved awfully. Yeah. That's like you according to this account of the relationship, as I say, and it's really. I know that a lot of our listeners have actually written in about this particular thing this week. Apparently, this is one of the biggest ever entertainment inbox subjects, and people have said, could you have had an NDA to stop this? And it's really interesting because
So I ended up thinking about this a lot because our producers told us that people were interested in this particular angle on it. You can have any legal document, and as long as the parties involved will sign it, 90% to 99% of the time, that agreement will hold until you get, another legal document to free you from it.
Yeah.
So who in entertainment does have these things? We know that someone like Tom Cruise really, I want to say religiously, guards his private life. As a result, he's had two very high profile, he's been married 3 times, but he's had 2 very high profile divorces. One from Nicole Kidman, where you never hear a single word ever about him. You never understand why her shared children, are estranged from her. Nothing is ever said. Then Katie Holmes, where their shared child is estranged from him. You never hear a single word at all. There was extensive reports saying that she was not allowed to be shown in another relationship. She had a long relationship with Jamie Foxx, that they were never pictured together at all. And so there are people out there who can kind of bring in these
the narrative.
But I am thinking, okay, both of those women were actresses. Acting is a different art. You may sublimate your pain and your experiences into other roles, but Nicole Kidman has never played Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes has never played Katie Holmes. With a poet maybe, or a singer-songwriter, it's almost restraint of trade to say, you can't talk about your feelings.
Yeah. Or comedian.
Yeah. You can't. It's very, very difficult. And I was thinking, I realised that like Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes weren't alive in the era of NDAs, but like, can she not talk about what's happening to her? Can she not write poems about her experience? Which there's a real bloodline between lots of those sort of things and an album like this. And I think it's really different in the case of singers and songwriters to say, maybe don't talk about me in an interview, but this is very interesting because it's so explicitly about, in all senses of the word, explicit about this person.
But it also has a universality to it. So which is why people are loving it,
falling upon it. Yeah,
yeah, because it chimes with lots of things.
Can you say to a singer? You might say, don't slag me off in interviews, and maybe you could get that. But I think it's very difficult to say to a singer-songwriter or a poet or someone like that. Work is talking about their own lives and emotions. You can't ever say anything.
You mentioned their video on Architectural Digest, where they were taking Architectural Digest through their home. And Architectural Digest at the time, I thought, this is a nice bit of business for us. It's an interesting house, 2 people who people have heard of. This will do some nice numbers, so we'll just go around and film it. It is now one of the most viewed things on YouTube. Yeah. It's gone absolute, like tens of millions of views for this thing. And it's really worth watching. Literally the first thing he does, like Architectural Digest comes to the door and he does like a skit where he goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing here? I told you I'm married now. You can't be here." And you're like, oh God. Talk about hiding in plain sight. And Liliana in the background kind of going, he's not the greatest wit in the world. There's a number of jokes he attempts in this Architectural Digest.
He's an actor who says other people's lines.
Yeah, exactly. And has come to believe that he has.
There's a special sauce.
Yes, exactly. Listen, it's really worth watching, if only for the house.
Can I say what's also worth watching is, regrettably, he did an earlier video where he showed them round an apartment.
Oh, no. I think Palace.
Or the dojo. Could have just been a dojo, Richard.
Yes, in the lyrics.
In the lyrics, she says,
I
didn't know it was a pussy palace. I thought it was a dojo. Yeah. It's unbelievably catchy, but I just have to say that that particular one is, and this is a complete sidebar, but we have discussed this before. Certainly we've discussed this, when we're having a drink together. Celebrities, sometimes it's great to pay for all your own stuff, because then the interior designers who do certain things for you don't say you can have these things for free if you do an Architectural Digest video. I'm not saying that either of them did this, and I'm not saying that David Harbour did this with the first apartment, but you don't have to have cameras into your own house.
I was naively thinking, why are they doing
this? You know why they are.
Why
because
would you do that?
You get discounts on all these things, or I will do an Architectural Digest feature for you, and it happens all the time, and it's happened forever since rich Manhattan socialites wanted to get their houses, because it was that was a sort of real Bonfire of the Vanities badge of honour. All the wives in Bonfire of the Vanities want to have their houses and their apartments in Architectural Digest. It's all grist to the promotional mill for this album, which, as we say, has been launched. It's sort of just dropped without fanfare. They haven't had some great big campaign that it's coming, and it's organically growing because people are fascinated by it. it's really good.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It'd be very possible for Lily Allen to have released an album that was really good in this year and for it to have slightly disappeared.
Yeah.
You can disappear from the middle of culture. And again, I don't think she's done it cynically. I think she's made exactly the album she always would have done. But it's one of the great things about it is because of the honesty of it. It has reminded people of what a great songwriter she is and what a great presence she is in the middle of our culture. Can I say one other thing, though, which is, I know everyone says, it's done this, it's done streaming, it's this, that, the other. It only got to number 4. Number 4 is perfectly good. But I tell you what it's behind is, and I don't think we ever talk about, and this is on a completely different subject matter, but the best-selling British rapper of all time, Dave, has brought out a new album. It is beyond magnificent. I mean, it is incredible. It's much less gossipy than the Lily Allen album. But
in rap is actually quite hard.
Yeah. Right, Dave is now so famous, by the way. If you type the word Dave into Google, he is what comes up. Imagine that. So the boy who played the harp, it's absolutely magnificent. Yeah. And talk about a troubled childhood. He was homeless. His 2 older brothers went to prison, and he writes these incredible songs. He had the song last year with Central Sea Sprinter, which is the biggest streamed UK rap single of all time. He's the biggest UK rap star of all time. And I think that some of the broadsheets have been talking a lot about the Lily Allen album and talking less about the fact that we have one of the great artists of the century.
But all the tabloids, anyone talks in the same way that they don't discuss gaming
doesn't
or
narrative,
other
right?
things. Well, or the same way that, as we say, we talk obsessively about what's going to happen to like Paramount for 8 billion and nothing about Roblox for 80 billion. And it's just one of those subjects that people don't have a proper handle on. And oh dear, something bad has happened to a woman. Is a thing that they've got a real muscle memory for that one, Richard.
Meanwhile, we have this incredible artist. I genuinely think he's brilliant, and I think every album he's released is incredible. I adore the Lily Allen album as well.
Fantastic. All right then, shall we go to a break, Richard?
Yeah, shall we?
This episode is brought to you by Sky and Sky's new original film Nuremberg in cinemas Friday the 14th of November.
Now, the trials in Nuremberg weren't just a courtroom drama. They're also the story of how Allied forces shaped the reality of international justice for generations to come.
At the centre of this story is a battle of the minds between Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Kelly, an American psychiatrist played by Rami Malek, and his most infamous and formidable patient, Hitler's second-in-command, Hermann Goering, portrayed by Russell Crowe.
And Russell Crowe shows Goering as a calculated performer, playing to the gallery at all opportunities, turning every encounter into a contest of psychology and ideology.
2 Academy Award winners, 1 courtroom stage, directed by James Vanderbilt. Nuremberg's star-studded cast includes Leo Woodall, John Slattery, Richard E. Grant, Michael Shannon and Mark O'Brien.
And 80 years on, the legacy of the Nuremberg trials remain unshakable. The trial that defined modern justice in many, many ways. A story of taking phenomenal risks in the pursuit of truth and justice.
Watch Sky Original Nuremberg only in cinemas Friday the 14th of November.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, before we start talking about Strictly, let's talk about the other big BBC behemoth, because we're doing our live streaming of the final of Celebrity Traitors on Thursday night. Yeah. Are we not?
Right after it's finished, we're doing a live stream.
I'm hoping
we're going live and unfiltered. All being well, that's what we're doing.
And that will be a live stream. So we'll be emailing the details to all of our members, tweeting out to everyone else as well. But you'll be able to join us live on YouTube on Thursday night. It will then be available as a podcast as well. But very exciting. What's going on with Strictly? Is it all over? Why have Tess and Claudia left us? Is there a bombshell to come? Is something terrible about to happen? Can it survive? Someone
said to me the other night, shouldn't they just axe it? I just read somewhere that they should just axe it. It's like, oh yeah, no, they should definitely axe the top rating show on British television. Apart from the Celebrity Traitors. But that was like, this is a very recent development. They should definitely axe it that. It's like, did you read that in like the Times or the Daily Mail or something like that? Because let me tell you, I'm so sorry to break it to you, but it's just possible that some of those newspapers have an agenda. No, they shouldn't axe the top rating, apart from Celebrity Traitors, show on British television.
Yeah, let's not axe a show that is still getting over 7 million live viewers on a Saturday and Sunday night.
To say nothing of Hangover catch-up on Sunday morning. Nothing of it.
Utterly loved by loads of people. It is watched by families. I mean, it's listen, it remains a magnificent piece of television. You get 2 types of people. You get the, as you say, the journalists who are owned by a media corporation who don't want the BBC to have a big hit. You also get those people who because they've stopped watching it, go, everyone has stopped watching it.
Yeah.
You think, oh, do you mean you stopped watching it? Oh yeah, and actually, I am still watching it now. I think about it. So it is still a very, very, very big hit. It's still in absolutely fine form. This series, the quality of the dancing has been amazing. The judges, I think it's the best judging lineup they've ever had. So
me too.
It is absolutely going to stick around. It should stick around. It brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. If it doesn't bring a lot of joy to you, that is perfectly okay.
Not all of television has to be for you.
Exactly that. But it brings a lot of joy. And we can all say, oh, it needs a revamp, it needs this, that, or the other. And the two people who realise that more than anything, well, I tell you, everyone who realises it, all the execs, everyone, that show's been on 23 years. It goes through little cycles. It goes through little revamps. Very hard to keep a show on air for that amount of time and to keep it fresh in any way whatsoever. That is difficult. And I think Claudia and Tess both absolutely understand that.
It seems ridiculous now, but it was so radical, the idea that two women would present a show, and the fact that they've stuck that tight, they're like sister, they call each other, like say that she's my sister, and you've never been able to say, they've never been able to be pitted against each other despite the absolute Herculean efforts of a million people to pit those two women against each other. You can't. And I mean, it's a sort of amazing and a lovely story in lots and lots of ways. I think it's extraordinary. Something I don't like at all, which I have noticed, because everyone can obviously see that Claudia's having this incredible success with both Traitors and now Celebrity Traitors, which is just going to be a driver of viewers towards the normal civilian version when that returns in January. But people say about Tess Daly, she's no good. It's like, okay. No. You hear so much stuff about like, oh, who's going to anchor the BBC's live election coverage or any of the networks' live election coverage? Everyone always talks like about that as though, the apogee of broadcasting is doing that. Okay, right. Let me tell you what Tess Daly has to do. She's marshalled the biggest and most complicated live show by a million miles on British television. For how long? Okay, she's got to help someone and be really kind to someone who's having an absolute meltdown because they've just messed up their samba after a week of torturous practice. She's got to get them across. She's got to be really kind to them, but almost make it seamless so that she gets the judges' comments, so she can get them off, so that a swarm of technicians and people can come and change it from a Alice in Wonderland setting to the Matrix in like 90 seconds. We're now going live to Jacob Rees-Mogg's Count in North Somerset. Like, do me a favour. It's like, oh, they have to stay up all night. Once every 5 years they stay up all night. Okay, try doing that marathon every single Saturday for 3 months. Okay, and every single thing that happens on your show has the potential to be a full-blown culture war fought across the BBC. Try doing that. Don't tell me that Tess Daly, she's a broadcasting machine. Yes, she also happens to be smoking hot. Life is not fair. But do not tell me that she's no good. I will not hear it. She's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
People don't understand what it is that she does. It's like that thing where, you watch a football match and afterwards people who really know about football go, oh God, the best player on the pitch was Adam Wharton. And you go, I didn't see him do anything. You think, well, yeah, you're not supposed to see him do anything. Yeah, Tess has got two people. She's got a dancer and a celebrity. She's got 4 judges to deal with. She's got a very specific time frame to be able to send them off. She's got someone talking in her ear the entire time. Listen,
got a lot of emotions to handle for people.
It is not nursing, but if as a television presenter, it is a really difficult job, and almost all television presenters cannot do that job.
And she's got 16 or whatever of those to get through. And if you mess up a bit on every single one of them, the entire schedule is thrown out by about an hour. So, it's really hard.
Listen, we'll get onto who's going to present it in a bit, but so many of the pairings, you're going to go, sorry, there's neither of those people could do Tess's job. You really understand that neither of those people could do Tess's job, that there's every single person who's ever sat in a live gallery is looking at those pairings going, I'm sorry, who's doing Tess's job? Who's doing the job that's almost impossible, that has to be done absolutely perfectly every single time? But we will get on to the pairings. Why are they leaving? Because you have to leave after a certain time. You just do. Is Strictly going to decline? No. Is it going to go up? Harder to say. We'll get on to why it might do. So it's a good time for them to leave. They are both in their 50s. They both have lives. They both have families. This takes a lot out of your year, and they've done it. And I can tell you, if you do the same show again and again and again, however much you love it, you do get to the point where you think maybe somebody else should take this over. Maybe this would be more fun for somebody else to do. The second you start to think, are there occasions where I'm phoning this in at any point, which perhaps they have felt occasionally, you have to go, do you know what? This is not fair. I love this show. viewers love this show, it has to be presented by somebody who absolutely loves it. So the moment you think, I cannot give this everything, are there scandals to come? There are no more scandals in Strictly than in, let's say there's 300 people involved in Strictly, or you could describe as being, employed by Strictly. There are no more scandals in Strictly than there are in any single organisation of 300
apart from
people.
the Houses of Parliament.
Anyway, apart from the Houses of Parliament, which has 50 times more, or in a lot of the tabloid newspapers. I mean, this is
just
not
full
a
of sex
scandal.
cases. Full of sex cases. I've worked there.
The tabloid newspapers full of sex cases.
Yeah.
Let's see if they report that. I'm absolutely certain that people have taken cocaine. Tess and Claudia are also aware that the smallest, indiscretion on this show, it just there's sort of a tiresomeness to it. So they've left, I think, because it's the right time to leave. Now, does that mean the end of Strictly? No, and I'll tell you absolutely why. There's an extraordinary story happening over the Atlantic, which is Dancing with the Stars in America. So Dancing with the Stars is made by the same people, made by BBC Studios. A lot of DNA is very, very similar. A lot of people have been involved in both over the years. People have gone back and forth. So there's a lot of kind of shared experience. 3 years ago, that's very much the kind of bronze medalist of the big American reality shows, which are Dancing with the Stars, The Voice, and Survivor. Yeah. Now, it's very, very, very much number one. And not only is it number one, it is massively number one with under 35 viewers. In the last 3 years, they've decided to do something with Dancing with the Stars, which they will do on Strictly. I guarantee it. From last series, the number of under 35s watching has gone up 118%. Over the last two series,
it's insane, isn't it?
It's gone up 300%. So young people watching terrestrial television. So watching it on ABC, watching network television, watching it on ABC. And they've done it by understanding that what they have in Strictly could not be more social media friendly, could not be more TikTok friendly. It's dances, it's famous people dancing, and it looks amazing, and it's incredibly clippable. So a couple of years ago, they said, right, we're going to make sure that we absolutely hammer the socials. We absolutely hammer TikTok. They stream it on Disney Plus as well, which has not cannibalized it at all. It's done the exact opposite, which is dragged more people to the network version of it. They got more people, not necessarily YouTubers and social reality stars, but lots of people in it have a very, very big social media profile. So, for example, this year, Andy Richter, who was Conan's sidekick for years and years, so 59 years old, so he's perfect booking for that show, but he has an enormous TikTok presence as well, and that's a big deal. So they decided 2 or 3 years ago, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and grow this through socials. Socials will feed back into the show, which will feed back into socials, and it has really, really worked. As a format, Strictly Come Dancing, Dancing with the Stars as it is in America, is perfect for our times.
Yeah, for all the politicians having a go at the BBC, I mean, they've done a trade deal with America that's incredible. Yeah, exactly. Why haven't you?
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on, guys, get it together.
So if you're the BBC, you are thinking, well, we have this thing on our hands, and we have absolute proof of how this can go in the next few years. And actually, we have a lot of the same personnel who have done that, who can come and do it over here as well. So the job of Strictly now is how do we get it onto the socials more without alienating that big audience? Because you don't get 7 million viewers by getting rid of your current audience. So they absolutely have to keep everyone who watches it already, and just light tweaks that mean that absolutely you cannot avoid it on social. So all of these kids who in a million years would not watch anything on BBC One would go, so that show I keep watching clips of, are you telling me there's a 2-hour live version of that every Saturday night? But if you come at it from that angle,
I agree.
It is.
Okay, so I'm interested in your thoughts on
who's going to host.
Yeah.
You have to think about how that show is hosted, right? Tess and Claudia spend almost no time with each other.
No.
There's like a 2-hour show, maybe like 3 or 4 minutes of Claudia and Tess together. Yeah. So people keep suggesting pairings. You think,
they don't need to get on. It's great that they spend all their time in each other's dressing rooms, but that's a separate thing.
So you need someone who can do the Test job who just
can marshal it
like a libero in football who just sits there and just stops every attack. And then you need someone like Claudia up in the gods, who is that thing of she's pretending to keep things loose while knowing she has 45 seconds and she has to come out directly on 45 seconds, which is a very, very difficult skill. So anytime someone mentions any sort of comedian who sort of is slightly off the wall, you think they could not do this job. They couldn't do it. It's Strictly has so much stuff that has to happen in terms of the dances, in terms of the VTs, in terms of the scoring, in terms of the judges. It has to happen, and it has to happen in very, very, very tight timeframes. And you cannot have somebody who is used to just freewheeling. It's fun on lots of shows, but on this show, it's impossible, which is why Tess and Claudia are so great, because Tess just takes care of this, and Claudia sort of gives the impression that there is a lightness of touch, while actually she's also like working like clockwork as well. So they both do a job that the other couldn't do, and they both do it brilliantly. That said, there are an awful lot of presenters who would be very, very good at doing this. I'll go through some of the ones that I would suggest, and then I'm going to throw...
For each role.
For each role. Because it has to be...
Yes, I agree.
It has to be a pair. If we say, actually, maybe a pair that already has a relationship, a lot of people have suggested Alan Carr and Amanda Holden.
Yeah.
So Alan Carr's star is absolutely on the rise. Amanda Holden 100% could do that test job, which is very, very difficult. But she could absolutely do it. She really knows her business. She's a great presenter. She's on live radio for years and years and years. So, knows how to, work to a countdown. Yeah. Absolutely gets it. Could Alan do the Claudia thing? Would he want to do the Claudia thing?
I wonder whether certainly, I'm not sure he would actually want to do that. I think he will have an unbelievable amount of different offers than he would have had before Celebrity Traitors when the show finishes. But I'm not sure that actually she makes it look like, it's the most fun job in the world. And it's like, I'm just saying random funny things that, and she's so witty and blah, blah. But actually,
it's so hard.
As we say, it's very, very difficult.
Because the people are coming out, someone's saying in their ear, don't forget, Balvinda looks a little bit disappointed. Don't forget, we got that story about Julian that he wants to talk about that. And don't forget, we're cutting 10 seconds off this because, we're already over. So all of that is in her head, and then she has to make it look simple. If you're Alan...
I think it's too constricting for him, and I don't think he'd like it.
I don't think he would like it. I think he'd do one pilot and he'd go, no, I need a bit more freedom. You think you cannot have freedom here. You just can't do it.
I don't think Rylan would mind it.
I don't think Rylan would mind it. I don't know. Rylan's an interesting one. No one has ever presented Strictly who has been on Strictly. There's never been a presenter. So whenever people say someone hasn't been on Strictly, it doesn't really matter because thus far they haven't been. But it would be quite fun to have two hosts who had been on Strictly. And the two people who I think could do these two jobs, Angela Scanlon, who I absolutely adore and who could do that test job all day long. She absolutely could do it. She's so smart, been on the show, loves the show. Viewers absolutely love her. And up in the gods, Chris Ramsey.
Yeah.
Who's also been on the show, did very well on the show, is funny, but absolutely understands what he's being asked to do at any given time. And his humour is not Alan's humour of we open the world out and we expand everything and see what happens. He knows how to keep stuff tight, like Chris McCausland when he was on last year. Understands how to keep things tight. Seems to like human beings. Has a big social media presence, which we'll get onto because I think that's going to be a huge deal. So Angela Scanlon and Chris Ramsey would be great. Alicia Dixon could do that role as well, the test role. I think, and again, she's been on it, so know, her and Chris perhaps could do that. The obvious person who could do both of those roles is Zoe Ball.
Yep.
And that's who they would offer it to. Whether Zoe Ball wants to do
I don't think she would want to do it myself, but that's pure speculation.
Yeah, it feels a lot, right? Zoe Ball looks like she has found a nice place to be in her life and found a pace that she enjoys. Whether this is something, but maybe it is.
It's a maybe, yeah.
Yeah, the key is going to be they need somebody there who is huge on socials. They absolutely need that. But funnily enough, Amanda Holden is huge on socials. Yes. Angela Scanlon, huge on socials. They need someone who is going to live this show all week round. Celebrity Traitors it's unbelievable the coverage they've had on socials because essentially they've had 20 celebrities. Yeah. They've got Claudia plus 19 others. And on this, you need somebody who's going to constantly keep that going. And I was just wondering, this could be 100% wrong. 2 weeks ago, bottom of the leaderboard was George Clark. And I thought, I wonder what the voting numbers are for George. That's my wonder. And if they are big, and if George Clark, who has a very big social media presence, is getting an awful lot of votes, then he might not be a terrible choice to be one of the presenters on that show a Zoe and a George, and Angela and a George, and Alicia and a George. I just wonder if they will throw a curveball like that, which is somebody who is a digital native.
I don't entirely buy that, but I know what you mean. Something I'm interested in, and forgive me if you're getting to this, because I do think that they need to keep that part of their audience that feels like the show is a national treasure, and they'd like somebody who has had this wonderful sort of, mid-stage career glow up and has became an automatic national treasure is Hannah Waddingham. On Eurovision, think what she did in Eurovision. Yeah. Could she do the Tess role?
I think she could. I don't think she'd want to. And I think she can get,
Do you not think she'd want to?
She can get 7 figures for a movie now. It's hard for Hannah Waddingham to become more of a national treasure.
I agree.
I would say. It's very hard for an actor to do this job because it's 3 months out of your year. And, you could say, oh, yeah, but it's only Saturdays. Because I thought about her and I just think she can make so much money in the next couple of years. I don't mean that in a bad way at all, by the way. Sometimes, sometimes the light is shining on you. I think that it would almost, as you say, before, it will almost be like a restraint of trade. That
I know
she has all of these opportunities. She'd be an amazing look, and they would definitely ask her. I mean, they will 100% be asking. But I didn't put her in any of these lists because I think.
What about Maya Jama?
Yeah, I'm not sure which of the roles she would do. It's interesting when we talk about all these names, and feel free to email in names about who you would like. There are people who could do it, but the thing you have to remember is there are 2 very different jobs there, and what those jobs are. There are certain people you cannot suggest. There are certain comedians who you just think there's no point suggesting that person.
Do you not think Stacey Solomon could do the Claudia because she couldn't do the timing and the difficulty? I don't know. I haven't seen her do enough live things, and I don't think she has done enough live things.
I think she would be pretty good at it. You know what? It's really hard.
I know it is.
I mean, it's really, really hard. And I love Stacey Solomon, but I don't want her taking time out to sort your life out.
No.
Because that's a very important show for me. But I think we are blessed, especially with some amazing female presenters at the moment. I think if I was at the BBC right now, I would be incredibly excited. I would think, thank you, Claudia and Tess, for shepherding this show so beautifully. Thank you for leaving so classily. Thank you to everyone and Dancing with the Stars for showing us a direction of travel, which means, we've worked out a way that this show is protected for the next 10 years. And thank you to the infrastructure of British TV that there are so many amazing names there who could really take this show into the next generation. I think it's a very, very exciting time. I think they'll definitely ask Hannah Waddingham. I think they would definitely ask Zoe. I think they will definitely have a conversation with Rylan. But I do think, in amongst the Alicia Dixons and Angela Scanlons and Chris Ramseys, there are some people out there who could absolutely make this their own.
I think they could do a fun thing, having listened to you talk a lot. I think they could do a fun thing with an age difference, where there's a really big age difference. I mean, if you think about part of the reason things like Only Murders in the Building have become very, very successful is because you've got these 2 old guys that we all remember for, Steve Martin, Martin Short, and obviously they're geniuses and brilliant. Yeah. And then you put Selena Gomez with them and it's suddenly like, wow, okay, now you've got a show and now you've got something that has a pull with younger audiences that it wouldn't exist at all had they not done that. There
are sometimes when people quit shows where you think, okay, this is a managing decline. This is really not that, which is why a lot of the press stuff has been so wrong about Strictly. This is an amazing opportunity. And also it means almost certainly we'll get to see Claudia doing a chat show as well.
Yes.
Which would be very, very exciting. No one has confirmed it.
No.
But I would be very, very surprised.
Well, she's always loved interviewing and she's fantastic at it and she's very funny, as we can all
And if you believe what you read, she would team up with Graham Stewart at So Television, who make Graham Norton and make it absolutely brilliantly. That would be an incredible combination. Were that to happen. So, we get Claudia doing 2 series of Traitors a year, fun summer chat show. Yeah, I'd take that. And then 2 fresh faces doing Strictly, taking it into, the next 10 years. I genuinely think it's an exciting time for Strictly, and Dancing with the Stars is the main reason why it's an exciting time. It's hard to overestimate what an extraordinary thing they've done over there. They've absolutely turned around something that people thought was impossible to turn around, not just their own show, but also people watching network television, and absolutely no reason why we can't do the same over here. I'm going to take you through some of the numbers of people online. So TikTok, that's the main thing. Roman Kemp, who I really, really love. He's got 500,000 TikTok followers. It's not bad. Amanda Holden, who I really think would be great on Strictly, 1.3 million. Yeah. But listen, I'm going to go back to him. 2.4 million TikTok followers, George Clark. If he can do it, if they can get him in the studio and just go and just play, he seems very bright. He seems very, very smart. And if they can kind of absolutely pilot somebody like that coming off, especially if he wins this series, which I don't know if he will, but he's certainly going to stick around. That would be an amazing
Surely
handover.
Lewis has to win it. It's just
His
ridiculous.
dance on Saturday was, I think
ridiculous.
that's the best thing I've ever seen on Strictly.
It's
the best
unbelievable.
Dance. Yeah. I mean, I know he's a dancer, but even so.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, recommendations.
I'm reading a book that was sent to me by my old boss, Jimmy Mulville, who runs Hat Trick and does, Have I Got News for You and Outnumbered and Father Ted and all of those shows. So one of the great kind of TV impresarios. But someone asked him to write just a short book about his love for Everton FC. And he's written this book. It's called There's Going to Be a Show. Like anyone who loves football, it's a story about his life, really, and it's a story about his family. And it's really, really beautiful. If you're an Everton fan, you must buy it. If you're a football fan of a certain age, I would really, really recommend it as well. It's just a really funny, smart writer talking about his family, talking about football, just talking about what it means. So it's called There's Going to Be a Show, and you will laugh and cry.
I would like to recommend the Wildlife Photographer of the Year exhibition at the Natural History Museum, which I have recommended before because it is every single year. I think it's better than the last year. It is absolutely beautifully staged and done. The caliber of the entries is just ridiculous. And, there were two amazing photos right at the very start. And you're like, sorry, is this the under 10s category? There's this kid, he has 2 in the top 5.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. But the photographs are extraordinary and they say so much about, us and our place in the world and what we're doing to the world. Anyway, it is always amazingly done. And I cannot recommend it enough. If you are in London and you get a chance to go to it over the next few months, that's Wildlife Photographer of the Year at the Natural History Museum.
And if you're not in London, that amazing Hamza Yassin series on BBC One on Sunday nights is...
Sorry, can we talk about sorry, we can't, but that is a massive hit. He's come from... Suddenly, you've got this person getting a huge, enormo hit on Sunday evenings.
It's great and beautiful.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's lots to say about wildlife documentaries, so we'll dedicate a whole lot of stuff to it at some point. Other than that, we will be back with the Q&A on Thursday. We've obviously got, hopefully, a live stream. No, for definite. A live stream on Thursday after the Traitors final. And we've got a bonus episode for our members, which you can join at therestersentertainment.com. It's a series and it's charting the story of MTV, which is really an unbelievable story.
Yeah, it's really
and
cool.
is sort of coming to an end. So anyway, other than that, we'll see you on Thursday.
See you Thursday.